The photo you are looking at is of a 500-year-old mummified child. The body was discovered on the Lulalico volcano in the Andes mountain range, sitting between the borders of Chile and Argentina, and is considered to be one of the best preserved mummies in the world. But how did this young, elaborately dressed and well-fed child end up in a pit 22,000 feet above sea level on the face of a volcano? Let's start from the beginning. Before the arrival of Europeans, South America was dominated by the Inca civilization. The Incas arose in the highlands of what is now Peru around the 13th century and went on to establish an empire that stretched from modern-day Ecuador all the way down to Argentina. And just like other pre-Columbian civilizations in the Americas, such as the Aztecs in Mexico, the Incas were well into the practice of human sacrifice, especially child sacrifice. For the Incas, child sacrifice was carried out during significant events such as famine or the death of a ruler, and according to the Inca, it was considered honourable to die as a sacrifice. The children selected to be sacrificed were usually the sons and daughters of nobles, and a great deal of emphasis was put on their physical attraction in the selection process. After the children were selected, they were taken hundreds of miles to the Inca capital of Cuzco, where they would undergo a series of rituals to prepare them for their death. After this, the children would be transported to mountains throughout the Inca Empire to meet their fate. Fast forward to 1999, explorer and anthropologist Johann Reinhardt of the National Geographic Society led a team of scientists into the Andes Mountains in search of Inca sacrificial sites. After many grueling weeks of acclimatization, an Inca gravesite was discovered. What they found were 3 mummified children, 2 girls and 1 boy. The girl you see in the image, named La Doncella, was around 15 years old when she died, whereas the other boy and girl were both aged around 6 years old at the time of death. A scientific analysis was done on the mummies in the years after their discovery, and in 2007 it was discovered that the 3 children came from peasant backgrounds, but interestingly, in the final months of their lives, their diet consisted of food that was commonly eaten by Inca elites, such as llama meat and maize, and it is likely that the children were given special treatment and fattened up before their sacrifice. Furthermore, it was found that the children had been consuming alcohol and coca leaves for many months leading up to their sacrifice. The children were likely given coca leaves and alcohol in order to make them more compliant and peaceful leading up to their impending deaths. In fact, La Doncella was discovered with a huge lump of coca leaves for chewing in between her teeth, which shows that the intended purpose of the coca was to ease them into death. Each of the 3 children appeared to be in different states when they were found and didn't die the same way. The oldest was in a relatively comfortable position with her legs crossed and her head on a slight tilt forward, and taking into account the high amounts of coca and alcohol she was given up until her death, it is likely that she did not die in a state of agony or distress. As you can see in the image, she has elaborately braided hair, is well dressed, and was carrying many items with her, showing that she was well cared for and a precious person in the sacrifice ritual. The young boy, however, known as El Niño, had blood on his shirt and a cloth draped around him. This has led experts to believe that he died by suffocation. The 6-year-old girl, known as La Niña del Rio, does not appear to have been treated as roughly as the boy, and she likely succumbed to the freezing temperatures. The reason the mummies are so well preserved is because of the extreme dryness of the air, as well as the extremely low temperatures. In fact, the children are so well preserved that their internal organs have remained intact, and frozen blood was even found in one of their hearts. The mummies are currently on display at the Museum of High Altitude Archaeology in Salta, Argentina.